welcome everybody to the Tuesday edition of WHPC Sports Talk. It's kind of like the Monday edition, but a different cast and crew here today. Except for Eric, he's always here. But hosting today, Kyle Mackay here with you. Eric Fischetti, as always. Sam Ienberg with us again this week. And how are you guys all doing?
I'm good so far.
What are you guys showing over there? Anything you can share with the audience?
My girlfriend is very funny. I'll just show you. It's so stupid, but I like it.
Yeah, that is pretty stupid. But that's us men right here. And we're about to talk about sports, which is what us, all men across America, live and breathe. At least most of us, actually.
I would say
99%. It's close to 100%, but hey, we're here. We're ready to go. We got a great show for you. I'm going to try something new. We didn't get to our picks last week. If we can get to it this week, we will. But I want to try something new. We're going to start off with what are you surprised about?
Okay.
And this should be kind of fun. I have a couple of things here that I've heard over the radio over the weekend, over last week, and definitely with what we saw in this week of football. All of them are football related, but here we go. First off, Texans are 0-3, Dolphins are 3-0. Which one are you guys more surprised about right now?
Can I be honest with you? Both of them surprised me.
Okay.
Both
if you had to pick one, would you pick one, or is it both
it's so close. The Texans regressed. They look like they regressed. And the Dolphins, they lose weapons and they're playing better. What is going on here? They have a really good chance of going 4-0. Not really. They're playing the Patriots. But
in Foxborough. So I think that they're...
Can you imagine if the Miami Dolphins go into Foxborough and they pull off the upset?
That would be something, especially because, like you said, they keep losing weapons and continue to just... I think it was a big culture change. I think that's what it was. They changed out their weapons.
There wasn't really...
And now it's like, this new culture is here, and it's actually taking shape.
But there wasn't really a culture change. They got rid of Sue, who is now with the Rams. They got rid of Jarvis Landry, who's doing great on the Browns thus far. I don't know what this is.
No, definitely, talent-wise, they regressed, as you pointed out. But in my mind, I feel like...
No, the Dolphins got better.
Okay, no, I understand, but I'm saying that it was the culture that did it. They, like you said, they got rid of Sue, great defensive tackle. They get rid of Landry, great wide receiver. They got rid of Ajayi last year, great running back, especially for the Eagles right now. But at this time, do you really think that...
Drake is so good right now. Ryan Tannehill's a quarterback.
They're looking like they switched something up and it's actually working.
I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if this is maybe Adam Gase being a great coach. I have no idea. I got to tell you, not only am I surprised, I still don't know what the Dolphins are. I have no idea.
Every week, I think I've picked against them, and they've gotten me each week. So
I think I picked them twice,
I still can't pick them this week, as you said, against the Patriots in Foxborough. That's going to be a tough game for them.
I don't know.
So
I
think it ends here. But, Sam, what do you think at this point?
I honestly think that the Houston Texans have surprised me. A lot of people were saying Deshaun Watson's going to be healthy, coming back. He's looked good. Possibly winning the MVP. Some might have had him as a top choice.
I did.
And J.J. Watt also back. So the defense has definitely got a step up.
Adding
with him
Tyrann Mathieu.
And Tyrann Mathieu. And
now you have to say, over the weekend against the Giants, it wasn't J.J. Watt's fault. He had a bunch of sacks on Eli Manning. He had 4 to be exact, but honestly, did he really... He couldn't help him any past that. He couldn't help him put it in the end zone.
He can only do so much. Look, and Watson played relatively well, too.
Yeah.
But the problem here for the Texans... I don't know what's going on with them. They look like they're getting worse, and I have no idea why. If this was last year, they might have won 2 games right now, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know what's going on, but I did hear a couple of rumors that now Bill O'Brien is on the hot seat now. So I don't know. Is that worthy?
Well, actually, yeah, I'll just skip ahead to number 5 on my list. Number 4. A lot of people right now, before the win last night for the Steelers, put Mike Tomlin on the hot seat.
That's a joke,
mainly
by the way.
because of... I agree. I think he's a great coach. I really do. I like Mike Tomlin. I think he's a player's coach, and I love coaches that are for the players. And at this point, my whole question here, what are you more surprised about? Mike Tomlin being on the hot seat or Bill O'Brien not being on a much hotter hot seat right now? As you said, you've heard rumors, but it's not big news right now that he's in the question to be fired at this point. Meanwhile, he is 1-12 in his last 13 games. Now, yes, Watson was out last year for most of that, but at this point, you have to think about, is he really a quarterback's coach the way that he was brought in for?
But this was a team that, I mean, yes, Watson coming in here thinking he's the guy. He has a few weapons in Fuller and Hopkins to pass to, that they could even be a playoff team. I think a lot of people probably had them having a good shot at the playoffs this year. And with Mike Tomlin, you can't put him on the hot seat. I mean, Bell is their number one running back. He has been playing. I mean, James Conner has been very good for them. And yes, there was a thing with Antonio Brown, but the Steelers, they're putting up a lot of points. They're just not winning games.
Yeah. Their defense hasn't looked great. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger threw for almost 500 yards last night and still almost came away with a loss.
But the thing that
the Buccaneers led by Fitzmagic out there in Tampa.
And it looked like he lost the Magic last night too. But the thing that
was another thing I wanted to bring up later.
The thing that kind of bothers me about, especially the Steelers, they're normally very loyal. You know, they've had 3 coaches since 1969.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
They're normally very loyal to their coaches, but the problem here is this isn't a matter of not reaching your players. This is a matter of, first off, they're a much different team without Le'Veon Bell. I don't care how well James Conner is holding down the fort. They're still different. James Conner is not Le'Veon Bell. He does not have that threat. That's the thing. Nobody is.
Le'Veon Bell could do all 3 things that you need a running back to do. He can block, he can run, and he can catch the ball out in the open field and make things happen.
And I like Conner. He has a very good story. He's the hometown kid. He beat cancer. He's playing his home games in the same places where he played his home games in college. And it's a wonderful story. And I think James Conner is going to be a very good running back in this league, especially if Le'Veon Bell is not in a Steelers uniform in the upcoming years. But it doesn't disregard the fact that you're still a different team. It takes one threat away, and it makes you focus on the outsides, mainly Juju Smith-Schuster, Antonio Brown,
I love names
and Ben Roethlisberger. That's another name. But yeah,
no, I like Clinton Dix. That's probably my favorite.
That's the best one.
Yeah, that's my favorite one in Green Bay. But I definitely agree with you guys that Bill O'Brien's hot seat isn't hot enough at this point. He was supposed to be a quarterback's coach, and we saw what happened with Tom Savage, and now we're seeing it. Now you can't say right now that Watson is just a bust. He's coming off of ACL reconstruction on his knee.
I was kind of expecting this too. I was kind of
like a regression, right?
Not really a regression, being rusty.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's not as rusty as I thought he would be. I don't even think it's his fault. I really don't. You have weapons. You have DeAndre Hopkins on one side of the field, and then Will Fuller too. My goodness, almost torched the Giants bad. But you know, I don't know what it is. This past week, the Giants-Texans was supposed to be a very good test, not only for the Giants' offensive line, but for the Texans as a whole.
Actually, whoever lost that game was going to be that first question. What was going to surprise you more? Was it going to be Giants or Texans 0-3 or Dolphins 3-0? But, I have to admit, the Giants somehow pulled out that victory, and it really shows me that the Texans, I don't know if they're as good. I picked them to be a possible playoff team at the end of this year, but so far it's not looking like it.
Me too, but even just going to the Giants really quick, Eli Manning looked vintage. He looked like an actual quarterback.
Yeah.
And you know what? I said this yesterday. When you have a guy on the offensive line with the name of Eric Flowers, not good things are not real.
Offensive line, yes.
yes.
Finally.
But the thing is, when you see that hole on the offensive line, as a football player, as anyone with common sense, what are you supposed to do if you see someone with a weakness? Exploit it? Yes. The answer is yes. That whole issue with the offensive line was that one person.
Yeah, as you showed in week 1, I believe it was, after that first show that we did, how Eric Flowers affected the guy right next to him.
Yeah, because Patrick
Omameh,
Patrick Omameh has to do the job of 2 people now.
Yeah.
But if this is the kind of games that we are going to see, the Giants putting up points, giving Eli Manning protection, if this is the Giants team that we're going to see in the upcoming weeks, because Chad Wheeler did a great job at right tackle the other day.
And
so did John Greco at center. It was great.
They look good. They lost their center for a broken ankle last week.
For the year.
And he's out for the year. But another thing was, I heard on my way coming here, the fact that if they could just give Eli some help, that he can still lead them to the promised land. And also that Wheeler, is he a coachable player? That Eric Flowers might not be coachable at this point.
That just says it right there. That just says it right there.
No, but you get my point where it's
you invest a first-round pick in this kid, and he's not showing any signs.
He doesn't care enough to learn from the coaches and anything, but Wheeler, he wants to. He wants to get on the field. He wants to be better, and he's willing to do what he has to do that.
And he played at the end of the season last year also.
Yeah.
So, which, obviously great, because experience helps.
Something there.
Yeah, of course, there's something there, but the thing is, now Chad Wheeler is the starting right tackle from now on, after 1 week.
I would definitely say so. I mean, he's going to have his bad games and his good games if he gets lined up against a really solid pass rusher.
Look, sacks are going to happen.
Yeah.
Sacks are going to happen. There's going to be times where someone misses a block, but it's not going to happen as much anymore. But look, it happened to Solder. It's going to happen to Hernandez. Greco is going to lose some blocks. He's going to let someone through. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
There is no perfect offensive line. There is perfect in theory, like the Cowboys' offensive line. That's a perfect offensive line in theory.
And then you throw the injuries in, and
then you throw the injuries in. Then you throw Ezekiel Elliott, one of the best running backs in the game, in that theory. But there is no perfect offensive line. There is no perfect solution. You just have to go with what works. And right now, if it's Greco at center and Wheeler at right tackle, if that's working, keep going.
Yep. You're listening to WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Kyle Mackay here with you, with Eric Fischetti and Sam Ienberg. Mac Charkwick got stuck in traffic. He is trying to make it, but I don't think he will. Eric, I believe that you were talking with him and that he's probably not making it today, so we'll miss him today.
Yeah,
but right now we're talking about...
We can hold down the fort. It's okay.
Yeah, I think we'll do fine. But right now we're talking about what are you surprised about so far in the NFL season. Next up, I want to go into... Yeah, you guys got to pick one here. There's three teams after the Bills at 3-0 that are 1-2 in that division. All three, the Jets, the Pats, and the Bills are all 1-2 now. Which one are you most surprised at? I think you guys have a pretty good idea of who we're all going to choose. I have to say it's the Patriots.
And I definitely agree with you. Tom Brady, a guy who took the Patriots to the Super Bowl last year, starting off 1-2. I think they're home this week. They'll be 2-2 against Eric's second favorite team, the Miami Dolphins.
My first love, actually.
But I think that the Patriots will turn it around. I still think they'll win this division. But Josh Gordon, do you think he plays this week? Because he adds another weapon for Tom Brady.
I would say probably, because now it's enough time for him to learn the playbook, but I actually disagree with both you guys, because this always happens, in my opinion. The Patriots take a couple of games off.
I was going to ask the next question, but go ahead. I know where you're kind of going with.
The Buffalo Bills.
You're most worried about? You're most surprised that they're 1-2?
I am surprised. I would think that they would be 0-3.
Okay, yeah, that's why I figured you were going to go with it. It was the opposite.
Only because the Bills, the first 2 weeks of the season, got outscored so bad. One of their cornerbacks retires at halftime, and all of a sudden they come back and beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, minus 14.5 point dog.
That's ridiculous.
In Minnesota. So even if you say, okay, well, 3 goes to the home team, you're still down by 11.5, which is still the highest differential so far going into the week.
Look,
so that is a crazy upset.
The Jets don't really surprise me, only due to the fact that maybe they should be 2-1 and not 1-2. Maybe they should have beat the Browns, of course.
Yeah.
You can't expect what Baker Mayfield did, going into that, because he wasn't starting. It was Tyrod. But,
the way he looked, then, yeah, you would expect the Jets to be 2-1.
Right, but the way the Jets finished out the game is like they kind of shot themselves in the foot. So that's disappointing, yes, but I'm not necessarily...
You can't hurt a quarterback.
Exactly. But just look at what happened, Mr. Tom Brady. But, look... At that sense, I'm not really worried about the Jets, because even though they shot themselves in the foot against the Browns, I have a feeling that this season is going to be better than what people think. I'm not saying playoffs, but I think it's going to be an improvement from 5-11 for a consecutive season. The Patriots, they take a couple of games off, in my opinion. I'm not worried about them, because they have had control of this division basically since Brady first became the quarterback.
It's been like the 2000s when we were all 4 and 5 years old.
Right. So the utter dominance by the Patriots for this past decade, it just doesn't surprise me anymore. It's their division to lose every year until Brady retires.
Or Belichick leaves.
Either one. Until Brady leaves, until Belichick leaves. Until that happens, this is the Patriots' division to lose. But yeah, the thing that I'm really shocked about is the Bills. I figured they'd be 0-3 by now.
Okay, so I see where you're going there. Like I said, me and Sam, we kind of agree with the Patriots. But Sam, I'll ask you because you agreed with me on this one. Are you worried about the Patriots at this point? I am not. I know, like Eric said, they do usually. I think last year they started at 1-2 as well, and he also doesn't have his top wide receiver target at this point until week 5. So, are you worried about the Patriots or not really?
Not really. I think that division is not really. I don't think that's enough to get Brady nervous or scared about. Also, yeah, they are 1-2. They're going to be home.